I graduated from high school in 1984. Back then, a movie ticket cost about $3. The Apple Macintosh computer had just come out, and Ghostbusters with Dudes was the top-grossing movie. No one I knew had a cell phone. Our high school didn't have a marching band. And that year, our class didn't have a graduation speaker either. In another 3 decades, a robot will dispense wisdom via satellite from space or from one of those islands Richard Branson owns, and you'll watch it on the drone projector in your safe house. Apologies if my sophisticated comprehension of the future of technology goes over your head. I don't remember much about my graduation ceremony. It was just too hard for me to focus. I was wearing a scratchy white dress. It was hot outside and even stuffier under the polyester robes. We barely had any good hair products back then, and my hair was always poofy. I was wearing heels I'd never worn before, and they'd given me a blister. We were seated alphabetically, and I didn't know the students who sat to my left or right. My close friends were scattered somewhere across the auditorium, but I couldn't see any of them. Everything felt off and strange and muggy. Even having my diploma in hand felt sort of like an empty victory. Well, not sort of, since due to library fines, my diploma was being held, and the pleather envelope I received after I shook hands with the principal was actually empty. Inside was just a blank piece of paper. No name, no date, no year. My diploma would be held hostage until I returned my long-overdue copy of Robinson Crusoe. I was somehow both overwhelmed and scattered, far from focused on my future. On that graduation day, I could see about as clearly as, will Cindy's older brother buy us enough wine coolers for the party tonight? You know, deep, intellectual stuff. So if you're worried that at the end of high school or college or even a long relationship, you're supposed to know more about what comes next than whatever the Bartles and James count at the next party is, don't worry about it. Thresholds, passages, finales of any kind tend to have a forced, fake cheery, New Year's Eve type pressure about them. An isn't this amazing, I've got it all figured out-ness that isn't true for everyone. And like on New Year's Eve, some people have a detailed plan involving light-up hats and elaborate outfits and going to Times Square, while some just want to stay home and hide under a blanket. Neither method of handling a supposed big life moment guarantees what the future will bring. Both are valid choices. Except going to Times Square on New Year's. I mean, that's just nuts. In high school, I dreamed of one day becoming a professional actor, but had no idea how or if or when that could ever happen. So in the meantime, I auditioned for school plays. In my freshman year, I was cast as townsperson number 3 in the spring musical Lil Abner. I was thrilled to be part of the company and to have any role at all. Sophomore year, I was the understudy for the lead in Anything Goes, and I was as proud as I'd ever been the night I got to play Reno Sweeney, even though it was just a rehearsal, and even though the audience was comprised of only a few stagehands and a smattering of my fellow company members waiting for their cues. It was during my junior year that I was cast as Dolly in Hello, Dolly, my first leading role, and I loved every minute of it. To this day, my father still gets a faraway, misty look when he talks about my performance. A standing ovation all 3 nights, he'll say to anyone who'll listen. Even if gently reminded that I've had a few acting jobs since then, for him, nothing has had quite the staying power of that year's accomplishment.